Okay guys, well welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, I just bought an impact socket set from Tekton. It's a 1/2 inch drive, 10 millimeter all the way to 32 millimeter, no skip sizes. When I made that purchase, there were some things on a website that I had not noticed before, and if I noticed it, I definitely would have took advantage of it. So that prompted me to make this video. There's some items that Tekton has that you may not necessarily know about that I want to make you aware of. But to be true to this conversation, I think it's also important that we talk about some items that Tekton doesn't have that I think they should have. Okay, so in order to do this, we need to jump on their website.
All right, so first let's go ahead and jump onto the website.
Okay, so first item you didn't know Tekton had. Go over here to storage. Come over here to socket organization. There's two items in here. The first item we're going to go to is a replacement latch for your blow molded cases on a lot of the socket sets that they sell, black or red. So if this latch happens to break off, you can just replace it. So you don't have to worry about, not being able to close this set. Especially this could be very beneficial for a mobile guy, or even a guy who may carry this in the back of his truck. Like I have a Tekton set that I store under my seat in case of emergency. So it's nice that they offer that. And it's $4. So for both of them. So that's one item you didn't know Tekton had. Next one, same in the storage area of their website, is going to be this socket rail label sheet. And I'm going to tell you why this is cool. Okay, this item is free. Absolutely free. Okay, with any purchase. So you could have just thrown this in the cart and they will give it to you for free with any purchase. So you could go ahead and label your socket rail, but perhaps you wanted to use this for something else and label it a different way, on maybe something that you set up in your toolbox. So you didn't know about that, most likely, that you could have got this for free. It says that item must be added to cart. Discount automatically applies when checkout. So throw that in your cart next time you buy an item from Tekton. Next item you didn't know Tekton had. Go over here to more and go to conversion charts. All right, so here's a metric to SAE conversion chart. Now, you may have known that they had these, but did you know that these are free with an order over $100? So, like I said earlier in the video, hey man, I could have got a conversion chart like this if I would have known this. I just bought that 1/2 inch 3/8 drive, or excuse me, that 1/2 inch impact socket set from 10 millimeter to 32 millimeter. It was like $125. Man, I could have threw one of these conversion charts in there, and they have them in a magnet version as well. As you can see, there's two different formats, so you can see how beneficial this could be. Say for example, you got a rounded fastener, and we're going to talk a little bit about that more. But let's say you got a rounded fastener and it's a 13 millimeter that's rounded. All right, you probably could get, because the 13 is going to slip and you can see the 12 is not going to fit on there at all. You probably could put a 1/2 inch size on that rounded fastener and still be able to get it off. So that's just one example looking on this conversion chart, being able to see the way the sizes line up with each other. Okay, but coming back here, you can see that there's also a magnet version of both of these. So these are cards, these are the magnet versions. So you can take this conversion card and slap it on your toolbox. Okay, and this is free with any order over $100. All right, that's easy to do when buying tools. And if you just want it for free, you could download the PDF and print it out yourself. So that's pretty cool. Or if you want this magnet to throw in your toolbox and you didn't plan on buying any Tekton tools, $4 shipped to your house. So that's another item you didn't know Tekton had. Next is, let's see, we want to go to, parts and supplies under Ratchets. That they sell super lube, multi-purpose synthetic grease. So if you do buy a ratchet and you keep your ratchets nice and serviced, which I'm guilty of never servicing my ratchets, which I should, it's great to use a little bit of grease. And they have this grease. So if you're buying something from Tekton, a ratchet set, a socket set or something, it would not hurt if you use a ratchet daily. Or even if you don't use a ratchet daily, but you do use ratchets, it's a good idea to just throw this in the cart. $3 to keep, a ratchet running is relatively cheap insurance to keep you from having to purchase another ratchet and to keep that ratchet running nice and smooth. So I think that this couldn't hurt to just throw in the cart. Now there's another thing that they have. They no longer carry the hose reels. But if you go down the air hose and you scroll all the way to the bottom, they still carry replacement parts for the hose reel. Now I don't see the hose reel on their website anymore. But you can, if you do have a Tekton hose reel and you have problems with it, at least you can come on their website and buy replacement parts for the hose reel. The last item, if you don't know by now, is going to be these new dead blow hammers that they got out. So you can see the various sizes dead blow hammers that they have available currently. And I do believe these are manufactured in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. You could always get on Tekton's website and double check that. So yeah, these are made in the United States. They have tons of stuff being manufactured here in the U.S. So take a look at that if you're not familiar. Or I should say, they're having more and more of their tools manufactured here in the United States. And a lot of it is really good quality stuff. Now, if you don't have a good quality dead blow hammer, this is a great option for you. I highly recommend that you avoid buying cheap dead blow hammers. I've bought cheap dead blow hammers in the past, and I didn't fare well. It did not turn out well for me. I ended up just having to throw it away and get a better one and wasted my money. So you don't always save money by going the cheapest route. So anyway, this is what I was more excited about here. The ball peen dead blow hammers. I can't stress this enough that if you are an auto technician, these are the hammers that you should be using. You really shouldn't be using a wood hammer working on automobiles or any other type of machinery, especially machinery that has lots of fluids, different types of fluids. Okay, because now you're dealing with chemicals. So in order to explain this further, let's go inside my garage and I explain it further. Okay, guys, so in the world of automotive, these are the hammers that you're gonna want to buy. Okay, you're not gonna want to buy these type of ball peen hammers. Now, is there anything wrong with a wood ball peen hammer? Certainly not. As you can see, I have wood ball peen hammers and I use them. Now, the advantage to using these type of hammers in the automotive world is going to be for the obvious reason. Okay, it's chemical resistant. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Okay, it's not going to absorb transmission fluid, brake fluid, motor oil, power steering fluid, your oily hands, whatever you got on your hands, it's not going to absorb it with this material. It's chemical resistant. Okay, you can just wipe these down with whatever you got on it, gear oil or ATF, whatever gets on this hammer, you can wipe it down. And you don't have to worry about the wood getting soft and mushy. All right, so that's the biggest problem with using this type of hammer. All right, there's nothing wrong with using a wood hammer. I'm not telling you to throw away your wood ball peen hammers. That would be ridiculous. These are excellent hammers. But when it comes to automotive, the wood will absorb all the chemicals that's on your hand. You will transfer it to this wood. It will be absorbed. You will end up getting fluids all over this wood handle. It's going to get soft. It's going to get mushy. I'm speaking from experience. Especially right here when you miss your target. If you've ever went to strike a target and you overshot it and you hit right here and now the wood is all soft and mushy, what do you think is going to happen to the head of this hammer over time? It's going to go flying across the shop. Okay? I've seen hammers get to the point where the heads are about to fly off, or they get wobbly up here and you can actually move them, rock them back and forth. Now, is there a way to repair that? Probably, but you can avoid that altogether and actually improve the life of the hammer by just buying a hammer like this that's chemical resistant for automotive chemicals. The second benefit to buying a hammer like this in the world of auto repair or any other type of machinery that you may repair or maintain is there's no bounce back. All right, this is dead blow, just like a dead blow hammer. You can hear the pellets or whatever's in this move back and forth. So when you strike an object, and you hit that object, all the material inside this head will go down and hit the target, and that keeps you from recoiling. So it'll keep that hammer from bouncing back. And it really makes it where you don't have to really hammer quite as hard as you would with this one, where you'd have to like really beat on something and constantly beat on it in order to get it to move, or to get it to flatten, or to get it to seat, or whatever it is you're trying to do. I noticed with these dead blow ball peens, you give them a couple of good whacks and you know, it really transfers that energy from the hammer to whatever object you're striking, because like I said, you got the dead blow pellets in there. So obviously I'm not an engineer, or I don't design these hammers or anything. So I just did the best that I could to explain the experience of using these hammers. If you haven't used a hammer of this style, I recommend it. Now these are snap-on hammers, but Tekton now carries these type of hammers, which I definitely had on my list of things that they don't sell that they should, but they beat me to it. I actually had the idea of this video a really long time ago, just never got a chance to make it, but they beat me to the punch, and they now have these type of hammers.
Now what they are lacking at this current point in time is the right sizes. Now if you go on their website and take a look, they got a 26 ounce, they got a 36 ounce, a 47 ounce, and 50 ounce. Now I'm going to tell you, for automotive purposes, if you are planning on buying one of these Tekton ball peen hammers, this one right here is a 32 ounce, just to give you some point of reference in comparison to a 16 ounce. This is the size that's going to be commonly used. Okay, this is equivalent to your typical ball peen hammer size. All right, 16 ounce. Both of these are 16 ounce ball peen hammers. This is a 32. This hammer is very big. Okay, I don't know if the camera does it any justice, but this is a very big hammer. You definitely could use two hands on this to whack on some suspension parts or something like that. All right, 16 ounce is definitely what you want to use to, you know, have a good grasp and control a hammer, and it's not too heavy. So their smallest size right now is 26 ounces, and I really don't think that 26 ounce dead blow ball peen hammer is a good size for everyday use. So they are missing the 16 ounce ball peen hammer. Their smallest one is going to be bigger than this, and then their next size up is going to be bigger than this. So Tekton, if you're watching this video, hopefully you guys got some 16-inch ball peen hammers coming out soon, or 16 ounce ball peen hammers coming out soon, because 26 ounce is not going to be like your everyday size.
Okay, guys, so that was a few items that Tekton now has that maybe you did not know about. So, like I said in the beginning, let's be fair to this conversation, and now let's switch gears for a minute and let's talk about a few items that Tekton does not have that I think they should have.
Okay, so as you guys can see, we have three sockets here. All three of them are 19 millimeter. The Williams is a shallow socket, the Snap-on's the mid-length socket, and the Genius is the deep socket. So what I think Tekton is lacking, or I should say the first tool that I'm going to mention that they don't have that I think they should have, is the mid-length. Most technicians will have these three various length sockets, and me personally, I happen to like mid-length sockets, and they are my go-to sockets. So again, let's go back into the garage and I'll explain further. Okay, so here's a close-up on the size comparison. Tekton really only sells shallow and deep. They don't carry, as far as I know, a mid-length socket, which I think they should carry a mid-length socket. Most technicians do have these three levels of sockets for the obvious reasons. There's always going to be a situation where you can only use a shallow. There's always going to be a situation where you need a truly deep socket. And there's going to be a situation where you need a deep socket, but you have clearance issues. So you got to pull out the mid-length. But for me, personally, this length of socket is my go-to over my shallows. These Snap-on mid-length sockets got a lot of miles on them because I actually reach for this socket first. Okay, so to make my point about how useful these mid-deep sockets are, and this could be a total personal preference thing, but this is what I see a lot. Technicians will have a setup similar to this when they get ready to, I don't know, let's say swap an alternator, and they go for that first bolt. Something like this. Why? Well, because to have a little bit of length on it, it sort of gets you out of the way so you don't bust a knuckle on something. You need to be able to get back some. You don't want to be right up on the fastener because when you bust it loose, you may end up busting your knuckle on something. So most technicians will put a little extension on there, or maybe a little bit longer extension. But I found that these mid-length sockets give you the perfect combination of length and leverage whenever you busting a fastener loose, because we all know if you put too much length on it, it'll take away from some of that torque. So I feel that because it's deep, but it's not super deep like your standard deep socket. I feel it fits over the fastener really well. It grips it well, and it gives you just enough clearance to clear items so you don't bust your knuckles, as well as give you a good leverage to be able to bust a bolt. A lot better than a shallow will. And you could argue that a deep socket will do that too, but a lot of times you can't slip off of what you're working on with just a deep socket. So, because it may be a little bit too long. But I find that these mid deeps are perfect. And again, this could just be my personal preference, but over the years, I found that using the mid deeps are the best. And these are the sockets that I will grab first. If I go look in the engine compartment and I see there's a 15 millimeter, alternator bolt, let me bust that one first. When I walk over here to my sockets, I'm gonna grab a mid deep first, every time. Okay, so moving on, the next item I think Tekton should sell are turbo sockets. Again, most technicians will carry some type of damaged fastener tool to be able to get off some rounded fasteners. And there's so many sets that you can find on Amazon that's just cheap and not really worth people's time. So I think that if Tekton put together like a master set of some turbo sockets and include quite a few sizes like they typically do, I think that that would be a great addition to their lineup, having a nice set of turbo sockets, like a master set though, or maybe even include some turbo sockets for lug nuts as well. So anyway, that was another item that I think Tekton should sell that they don't sell. So another item I think Tekton should sell that they don't sell is just a better ratchet variety in general. I think their ratchet variety is not that great in my opinion. I think they need longer quarter drive ratchets. It'd be nice to see a comfort grip on them. It'd be nice to see a different flex head than the one that they currently have. Maybe a true locking flex, or maybe the set screw style of flex head where you can adjust the screw to set the tension on the head. Just in general, a better selection or a better variety of ratchets. Now, I'm going to stop it here on the ratchets for the sake of time, because I don't want the video to get too long. But I did have some commentary on this that I shot in the garage. So if you're interested in seeing this, I'll put it at the end for bonus footage. But yeah, just in general, I like to see them with a better ratchet variety. Okay, so here's another item, guys, that I was kind of surprised to see that Tekton doesn't carry, and I think they should. I know they do carry like the a ratcheting version, but it has a flex head on it, and those are extra long. But that's something altogether different. This is just your classic extra long double boxed in wrench, and these tools are a real knuckle saver. Keeps you from doing the double wrench trick, which can get kind of risky sometimes. So I was surprised to see that they don't carry this tool. And I'd also like to throw in there another option that they should carry is 12 point on ratcheting wrenches. All of their ratcheting wrenches are 6 point. So it'd be nice to get some 12 point in there as well for ratcheting wrenches, because there are some situations where a 12 point ratcheting wrench is going to be better than a 6 point ratcheting wrench. For the sake of time, I'm going to stop it here. But I also want it to be fair to Tekton and keep it all classic hand tools, because that's what they sell, just classic hand tools. So, I mean, you can jump into specialty tools all day, and maybe they might start selling some specialty tools. But I kept it just classic hand tools that I was surprised to see that they don't carry. You could also throw in there as an honorable mention inverted Torx wrenches. That's sort of a classic hand tool as well, not a specialty tool that they don't carry. But like I said, we can go back and forth all day. Serpentine belt tools, fan clutch tools, and things like that. But I just kept it classic tools because that's what they carry. So we're going to stop it here for the sake of time. But if there's any other classic hand tools or tools that you think Tekton should carry that they don't carry for some reason, go ahead and leave it in the comments, something I might have missed. So anyway, guys, this is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, guys, so this is pretty much what Tekton's ratchets look like for the most part. They did scrap this round rotating head ratchet, which goes back to the point that I'm making is they need a better ratchet variety. This has the rotating head on it that can work like a palm ratchet in a tight spot. I've explained the value of having one of these ratchets in several other videos. So I'm going to move this out the way because they no longer carry that ratchet, which I think they should. I think this ratchet right here could easily be scrapped. So many other people carry this. Again, like we talked about before, it has that generic ratchet head on it. So this is so many other tool retailers sell this ratchet. So I think this ratchet can go. And so this is pretty much how their ratchets are going to look. This is pretty much all you can get with several variations. This you could probably get in a non-release. Yes, you can buy this non-quick release. And then you could get their flex with a quick release. And same thing on a quarter. And I do believe they may have one 12-inch ratchet. These are 8-inch ratchets. So they may have one longer flex ratchet in here. That's like 12 inches long. So that's pretty much all you can get. I think they lack ratchet variety. They're doing better. They got that new ratchet that came out, but I'm not a huge fan of their ratchets. They don't sell ratchets with comfort grip handles on them. I think they need to sell a longer quarter drive. I think they need to sell much better flexing ratchets, because ratchets are basically the first tool a mechanic is going to reach for. You know, in most cases, you know, if he's not reaching for a power tool, you know, the first thing he's going to reach for is a ratchet and a socket if there's no clearance issues, you know, and a wrench don't need to be grabbed. It's always going to be a ratchet and a socket. And I think that, you know, with that being said, it's wise for tool retailers and tool manufacturers to have a mass variety of ratchets, because probably this is the single most tool that mechanics overbuy or splurge on, you know, or just buy because they like the design and may not even necessarily use it. Which there's a video I made called "Do Mechanics Really Need So Many Ratchets?" And I'm also going to make an updated video, "Do Mechanics Really Need So Many Ratchets?" Part 2. So be on the lookout for that. that's in the works now. But I do think that they really lack variety when it comes to ratchets. So that's one thing that I think they can improve on. I think they need stronger mechanisms for their flex heads. I think maybe even have a locking flex, a true locking flex ratchet. Also maybe flexing ratchets that have the sort of set screw style where the bolt sort of holds the tension on the head. They need this style of flex ratchet. Comfort grip handles would be nice. I think they need better quarter drive ratchets. Nowadays, mechanics use quarters quite a bit more than maybe they did in the past, being that, you know, things are made of plastic and aluminum a lot nowadays. So you can't over torque. So we use quarter drives quite a bit. And I think they need to make a longer quarter drive. You know, they need to make a nice 8 to 10 inch quarter drive. So I believe this quarter drive is a 6 inch, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe, yeah, this is a 6 inch. And if I'm not mistaken, all of their quarter drives are 6 inches. But really, actually, let me put this back out here. They need to make like an 8 inch quarter drive, much like these 3H drive ratchets right here. They need to make a nice 8 inch quarter ratchet, but most of their 3H drives are 8 inch. So I definitely think they need to make a longer quarter drive. This is the perfect quarter drive in my opinion. A nice 8 inch quarter drive with a flex. So anyway, I think that this ratchet could be scrapped by Tekton. I think this ratchet should be scrapped by Tekton. I definitely think this long ratchet is a very useful ratchet. They definitely should keep that. I really don't care for these, but this is more of a personal preference. So I'm not gonna get too into personal preference, although of course the majority of this video probably is personal preference. So anyway, I definitely think that Tekton can improve on these ratchets. I don't necessarily care for these ratchets at all. To be honest with you, the only ratchet I truly use is this long ratchet right here and this round rotating ratchet, which I've stated before in other videos, but the honest truth, this is pretty much the only two ratchets that I use from Tekton. I just don't find their other ratchets to really be useful other than these two, and they don't even carry this ratchet no more. So to be fair to this, this is really the only ratchet from their new ratchet lineup that I recommend anyone buy. I really couldn't recommend their ratchet. So as much stuff as I like from Tekton, there are things that I don't like from them.